Behind me here, this is the little building I've come to see. This is the Rietveld-Schröder House. Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. I'm off to stroll into the centre of Utrecht to go and look at some interesting architecture. Well, interesting for me anyway. I guess the last time you saw me I was still on the Isle of Man. So better do a quick catch up of how I've got to be here in Utrecht. Well, here we go. Early morning start. It's not yet 7 o'clock. But I've got a ferry to catch. That's me, done for the Isle of Man. Finished my marshalling for practice week. I'm not here for race week. I've got other places to go. So, heading now for the ferry to take me back to the UK mainland. And once I get there, I will be heading across the UK, across England, and looking to get onto my ferry across to Holland. Oh, well, here we are, back on the UK mainland. This ferry is brand new, the Manxman. The first time they've loaded so many motorbikes onto it, I think they've got a few things to learn. Oh, that's a bit better. Out of the ferry port, get a bit of speed up. It's quite warm here this afternoon. You don't get any sense of that when you're on the ferry, so it comes a bit of a shock when you come out of the ferry doors. But I've now got to head from here on to the M6 and then make my way cross country on the A66. So, turning off here on the A66, which goes cross country and will take me across the A1, and from there I can go down and head towards Harwich. Off the A66 onto the A1, which will take me down as far as the A17, and then we'll cut east to head into Norfolk, and that'll get us in the right direction for the ferry port. This A17 runs through some of the flattest Lincolnshire farmland you'll ever see, and you get slow traffic because of all the agricultural vehicles. Just seen a tractor going past. There'll be one up ahead causing this queue. This land, a lot of it was originally reclaimed from the sea, and you really can see for miles in all directions. port. Harwich International. Passengers straight on. Don't follow the lorry, he's going in the freight terminal. Dutch guy on the bike just ahead of me there had dropped his passport in the queue. So I've just picked it up from the tarmac and handed it back to him. He's very grateful. You can see him there hunting for it. Lane number 1 he said, so yeah, here we go. Past all the cars. And I was in the queue there just chatting to the guy whose passport I'd picked up. He's from Dortmund and he's just spent 12 days touring around Scotland. And the past 12 days it's been dreadful weather in Scotland. The 2 weeks before that was really hot and sunny, and today's nice and dry and sunny, so I told him he's seen the real Scotland. A few bikes, but thankfully not quite as cramped and crowded as the Isle of Man ferry, and with a bit of luck I'll have a bit more space around the bike to sort out panniers and things. Coming into the Hook of Holland now. It's been a very smooth crossing. A warm sunny day, and looking forward to getting back on the bike and getting across to Utrecht. Here we are, we've arrived in Holland. I'm not quite sure what the passport control is going to be like this year. They've been talking about making all kinds of changes to having fingerprints and iris recognition and all sorts for people coming from the UK. So we'll see when we get through. Maybe it'll just be a quick flash of the passport like normal. But the first thing I'm going to do here is change Tigger to kilometres. There we go. Kilometres per hour, perfect. So that's me through passport control. It was very simple. Just got to remember now to ride on the right. And it still never gets old, riding off a ferry into a new country. Fantastic. I'm just going to take it easy while I get used to riding in kilometres. I've changed Tigger's dash and riding on the right hand side of the road. I've got maybe an hour to go, yeah, just about an hour to go to get to the hostel that I have booked in Utrecht. So, let's go! Looking now for the hostel. Be just down here, 600 metres it says. I think that's it. Park here for now.
Well, this is where I'm staying tonight, the Bunnik Hostel, just outside Utrecht. And I'm going to be here for 2 nights just to settle myself into Europe before I head on towards Denmark. Looks like a great place. The restaurant is open for another half an hour, so I need to go and get some food. This little wooded area is part of what they call the waterfront fortresses in Holland, this part of Holland. Back in the 16th century, this was not land, it was on the edge of the sea. And they've since reclaimed a lot of land, as they do in Holland. They call it poldering. All along this, what was coast, there are 16th century star-shaped fortresses, about 20 of them. And some of them have been preserved, some of them haven't, but a lot of them are just kind of foresty areas like this now. Well, just a 20-minute stroll from my hostel, and behind me here, this is the little building I've come to see. This is the Rietveld-Schröder House. Now, architects that I know will recognise it immediately, but if you're not an architect, you probably don't know it. It was designed by Gerrit Rietveld in the 1920s, and Gerrit Rietveld was a furniture designer, and he was part of an art movement in Holland here called de Stijl. If you haven't heard of de Stijl, maybe you've seen the paintings by Piet Mondrian. He's become the most famous of the de Stijl artists. He paints these flat, abstract canvases with black and white squares and primary colours. And if you can picture one of those, then you can perhaps see how this little building relates to that. Now, I've been here before. It's not my first visit to the outside, but that was decades ago, and it was in a state of, well, not a great state when I came to visit it last time. But since then, it's open to the public, and with a bit of luck, I can get a look inside. When it was first built, everything over in this direction was open fields. So hence the balconies and big windows facing this direction. But of course, since then, the Utrecht ring road has kind of cut the house off from what it was designed to look out over. Walked on now from the Schröder House into the centre of Utrecht. Just getting back to the hostel now after a day of wandering around in Utrecht. Sun's shining now. I wish it had been shining like this earlier when I was trying to do a painting. So just getting back to the hostel, and I'm going to prepare a meal for myself tonight. It's one of the things that I'm having to tackle on this particular tour. When I was touring through Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey and Morocco, the exchange rate between the British pound and all of those currencies meant that I could live quite easily on less than £50 a day. But once you get into the Eurozone, that becomes a lot more difficult. And certainly when I get further north into the Scandinavian countries, that's going to be even more difficult. So there's going to be a lot of cooking my own meals, a lot of camping, a lot of free accommodation wherever I can get it, just to make the budget work. Anyway, here we are, back at the hostel, and I'll be getting up early tomorrow and off into Germany. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, click like, click subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.